All right, well, welcome in here. Not stable for me, but what else? Such as life, you know. Brad Thomas in the house, Eric Lindquist is in the house, and that's what we do, man. What's up, fellas?
Listen, I'll tell you, I have had the hell of a weekend. I'm so tired. I got to the airport Friday morning, 5 a.m. There's a madhouse at the airport. Don't even get past security because we have to go get written tickets because of the outage. We do that. We go through security. They don't even have regular security. They have to do like bomb dogs because the security system sucks because of the outage. Get to the flight. I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm so sketched out. I'm going to go take a shot to cool my nerves. Go take a shot. The guy's like, it's not 7 o'clock, sir. Can't get you a shot. I was like, okay, whatever. I go to my plane. They're like, we're going to call you guys one by one. So when you're here, we call your name, you'll get on. Go to my plane. 10 minutes later, they go, all flights canceled. I was like, Dad, what do we do? He's like, we could drive. Mind you, my dad can't like really drive except for around the neighborhood. So it means I could drive. So I drive.
We're driving to though. Like, where are you going
Alabama,
from
10 and a half
to?
hours.
Okay, so that's what, like a 3.5 hour flight, maybe.
No, like shorter, like an hour. And so I drove 10 and a half hours, then drove 10 and a half hours yesterday. I'm tired, y'all. It's been a hell of a weekend. And my bets are losing to make it worse. I don't think I'm in a good mental space to be giving out bets.
See, Lindy, I thought I had it bad because my son destroyed my phone with a hammer, and now he's yelling and screaming as we're on my way to replace it. But I feel like I can't bitch and moan because I'm at least rested. Like, I'm at least rested. I just don't have a phone.
Yeah, you're not just rested. You are coming out of the All-Star break swinging, and you are hitting stuff out of the park right now. It is fantastic. Eytan Shander, for the people who don't know, comes in, drops hot fire. O'Neal Cruz, wind blowing in Pittsburgh, plus 900, jumps up to plus almost 1,100. Yahtzee, immediate Yahtzee hits a no-doubter 440 over the middle, just gone. And I'm just watching this like, oh, Eytan's about to go on one of these runs. He ends up jumping on the Dodgers down 2-0 in the first inning yesterday. Ends up just going completely berserk in the home run department on Sunday too. I mean, the guy could not be hotter right now. So I'm here to listen to you, if anything else.
Yes.
No. Look, man. Look, we ran hot on a couple of markets that I would feel. I don't know, not for public consumption, right? Like it's good. It's good for the text chain, right? Like I can text you and Brad, Alec Boehm walk next, third plate appearance, but
plus 1,100 walk, mind you.
Yes, I don't know if I want to build a reputation on like the third plate appearance market guy.
But sometimes you want to have friends. You want to have friends. You want to have fun with your friends. That's what it comes down
all
to.
the time.
I wanted to have fun with my friends on Friday.
That's it.
Fun we had. It was.
That's
enjoyable.
it, man. No, I think we got baseball back, which is nice. We're in this little groove here. We don't have a ton else. The Open Championship is done. It was a rough week for me in the sense of like, top 20s and other things. It was so bad that the only way I hit Xander was in a triple chance with two guys who I don't even think made the cut. But you know what? I'll take any victory I can get. And now look, we've hit this point where, and Brad brought it up because he wrote that column last week, and that's out, and he can tell you about it, guys. But look, we're football, man. I placed two college football bets, and I don't even mean futures, like week 0 bets. I'm in NFL week 1. Like I can't wait. I feel like we're already here.
We are so close.
Yeah, it's time. It's time for it to be here. This is probably, I would say, the worst month of the sporting year. Like, not even remote. Like, there's not a close second for me. This run from now until the end of August is just brutal. And so it'll be a lot of baseball. And obviously, we'll be just fine with that. I think the Olympics will probably help a little bit more this time around this year. I'm ready for some Olympic basketball. And that, for me, is going to be, are there going to be opportunities to short America? Have they played so poorly in some of these spots, or are they just absolutely saving it up to go completely berserk and run their way through everybody there? But playing Serbia first game out of the gate of the Olympics, I mean, that is must-watch appointment viewing.
Did you guys watch the South Sudan game? I admittedly
watched
did
the last
not.
5 minutes because I couldn't believe what I was getting texted.
What happened? Brad, did you catch that at all?
I didn't watch it. I just saw nuts. I saw it was nuts.
45-point favorites, win by 1 in like a frenzied finish where South Sudan probably should have gotten a putback. But I think this is a reminder that when you have professional basketball players anywhere, uh, when it's your job to only play basketball and play basketball, they do. There are chances for teams to get hot, and some of these rules, getting away from some of the extreme fouls, the flopping, it's a more physical brand of basketball under Olympic rule, and I love it. I'm stoked for it. I think we're going to learn a lot about some of the stars. Like Joel Embiid has not looked good in with some of these rule changes to things. I think he'll be fine, but just something to keep on high alert that when he's not getting to the line, he is not nearly the same type of efficient basketball player.
Yeah, trust me, I know all about that.
Yeah, I know you do, but want to
He's
remind
like,
people.
this is pain.
Yeah.
Be like if James Harden were on this squad, he looked like a D3 player. Couldn't get to the line at all. No, you're right. Like I don't. I'm looking at one thing that I was going to talk about from maybe if it's a system or maybe it's just something to get ahead for preseason football. But I want to put that on the back burner because I don't know anything. Admittedly, like I don't follow the Olympics. If you want to call me, a traitor or whatever, it's not like I'm rooting for another country. I just can't. I never got into it from like a rah-rah standpoint. So from a betting standpoint, I admittedly have no idea what I'm doing. Now, clearly, I think to your point, there's going to be an edge. There's going to be advantages that you can find from a professional game standpoint, basketball standpoint, especially because of the difference in how it's officiated and how physical it is and how little guys who live on the line can do quite that. I don't know anything else than just probably approaching it that way and thinking like, okay, maybe there's a way to short Team USA in first halves before they pick shit up.
Yeah, so to throw it out there for the people, we're starting in 5 days, I believe. 5 days. It's Saturday that a lot of the main games start up. USA is playing Serbia, Puerto Rico, South Sudan, and South Sudan's only 3.5-point dogs to Puerto Rico now, which is kind of wild. Brazil, France, Japan, Germany. We're looking at a Germany USA game that went underway here, but a couple of the major rule differences. It's a little bit of a shorter 3-point line. So you're basically adjusting 2.5%, 3% is kind of what I'm pulling in my model from NBA numbers and reducing them down, reducing them up. That's redundant the way that I just said that. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that the other major rule is that when the ball hits the basket in any way, shape, or form, you're able to rip it off the board. And USA hasn't done any of it so far that I've watched in a couple of games. I'm curious if they're just saving it up to not have it be something that they want to implement because they have too much size with Embiid and Anthony Davis to not necessarily be just sitting underneath the rim waiting for some of those controlled spots where you can just swat it away once it comes off the rim, even if it's a 3-point shot. It does not matter. And that is such a huge difference and something that I think, with some of the international sides, I mean, France specifically with Gobert and Victor Wembanyama, on the USA side with Anthony Davis, with Joel Embiid, with Serbia and Jokic. These are certain guys that should just be parked underneath the rim and haven't been so far.
I'll be betting Olympic soccer. I just gotta see a little bit about the squads. I will be covering some of the boxing and the wrestling. I don't know how deep I'll go, but I'll be covering it for work. So
I was going to say the other one I'm excited to see, probably my favorite venue that I've seen so far. Have you guys seen the Olympic beach volleyball court set up right in front of the Eiffel Tower?
Sick.
It is the coolest thing that I've ever seen. And I'm excited to see Chase Budinger because this is a guy that was the first round pick of my Minnesota Timberwolves. Arizona, Chase Budinger. He is the favorite. Him and his partner are the favorites to win Olympic gold.
Rocket?
Yeah, Chase Budinger was the number one high school high school basketball and volleyball player when he was back in the day, back when he was in high school. And Chase Budinger is in the Olympics playing sand volleyball. I am
okay. Hold on. I got to get this story. One sec. But it's just on that same vein. I had no idea that this guy was playing volleyball. Brad, you knew that shit?
Yeah, I saw that.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, the court too. Like wicked. I'm a volleyball player. If you guys didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I still play. That's actually how I hurt my knee. Was at volleyball league, but I was like, imagine being able to play in a tournament like that, like epic. Like even like the people who are just spectators.
It is the coolest Olympic venue I've ever seen. And I don't think that that's hyperbole. I think it's the coolest situation. The fact that they parked it right in front of the Eiffel Tower, and it's going to get a ton of attention. I mean, I just went to Paris, not this November, but the previous November with my wife for 2 weeks. And you walk around that, it is just Grand Central. There's so many different, you go across the bridge, it's like the Eiffel Tower's like directly there. You have like these museums that are on the other side, museums behind it. You've got all of the food spots that are sitting there. And the Eiffel Tower, like in that main drag where people are taking pictures up from different directions. It's going to get the most attention out of like any beach volleyball.
It's really
ever.
nice.
I mean, this is going to be insane. And the fact that LA, my city, has to run this back in 2028. Good luck, guys. Good luck. Not going to let this pretty on Manhattan Beach.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, isn't LA or like Southern California to beach volleyball what New York City is to pizza and hip hop? Like, you birthed that, did you not? Who else is known for this shit in this country?
Pretty much them. And obviously there's a contingent out there in Florida, my guy Brad over there. So these are good
but
things.
I feel like that's like, and Brad, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here, but I feel like beach volleyball may have migrated east as opposed to west.
Yeah, it migrated east for sure. Yeah, from the west. It's because also like a lot of these Florida beaches, the East Coast beaches aren't that great in terms of the sand quality. Like the sand looks nice, but it burns the shit out of your feet. You get cut up playing on it.
Oh yeah. You got to wear those Uggs, baby. Those Australian Uggs.
I have sand socks.
I had a feeling you might.
Florida, like, if we have a game that's like from 5 until 7:30 p.m. in the summer, you better put some sand socks on, or you're gonna have blisters on your feet.
Yeah, I used to play beach sand soccer with some buddies that they just went hard. They went hard.
Wait a second. You sound, this is like some rec league. Like you used to play like.
Yeah, we literally had jerseys, and then you would do like shirts and skins, and you would set up goals on both ends. And there was like this little arena area in Venice where people were, I mean, you can't let the ball hit the ground. It is insane. You do like the volleyball version, and there's like the soccer version. And so like people will be coming in and out from the courts to come into like the main arena area. But basically in the beach volleyball one, you can't let the ball hit the ground. And then the way we played beach soccer was that you had to only score. The only way that you scored, because we didn't have like goalkeepers, there were small goals, you had to header it in. So you couldn't kick it in. Everything had to be a header, which is wild to witness in person. It is really hard.
It's a lot of body sacrifice right there, man. Head-to-head contact for a rec sand soccer league. I mean, what the hell we
gotta want it, baby. You gotta want it.
You gotta want something, I think, at that point. But yeah, absolutely, man. And you're right. You would need sand socks for that shit.
Very important. Very important.
By all means. So a reminder, if you're watching on the GoldBoys YouTube channel, hit that thumbs up button, please. Make sure you're subscribed. You're following along on Twitter. Then make sure you're following OddsShopper here as well. Tone is in the house, Tone Stamp. So we want to thank him for making us around. You see it finally stable here. So this phone, I'll show you what happened. See, can you see the phone? Can you see how destroyed this thing is? Look at this. That's the back end of it.
No, that's birth control.
Was he just mad at you? Like,
no. I think so. If I can recreate the scene, we have a door that goes down to the basement, which is all finished, has my office, recording area, everything. And a lot of times if I use something up in the main part of the house and I'm too lazy to go all the way downstairs, I just leave it on the other side of the locked door, right? So my son was able to push I was outside with him, right? My wife was out. I was outside with the two kids. My son locked me out of the door, and in time, before I got to the keys, he was able to push a chair to the door, unlock unlock the deadbolt, open the door, and grab the hammer. So at that point, I didn't realize that he had the hammer. I was just looking to close the door and prevent him from falling down the stairs, right? And then he went back outside, saw the phone on the table, grabbed the hammer, and started smashing it.
Wow. Epic. That is
Yeah.
epic.
Yeah. I mean, this is laptops. I'm on my third laptop. I have a backup just in case. Like this is insane. The taxes that I'm writing off, it's all because of a child. Like that's really it.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Let's
this is
keep
life. All
let's
right,
keep
so
turning the people winners then while we're at it.
I was going to say, with that said, I know Brad was looking around and you were helping him earlier before we got on with some advice. I don't know if he took that by any means, but look, outside of this game that's going on right now, we've got a bunch happening tonight. We can bounce around anything here. I don't know if there's any early looks for the 3M or anything beyond that, tennis, what have you. But let's start on the diamond tonight. What do we have? Lindy, what do you have tonight to look at?
Yeah, so I mean, just to close a loop on this, I'll let Brad take it over. But the thing I was running over here is basically it's a distribution curve. You're basically just looking at standard deviations away from the mean on a specific game environment based on starting pitching and based on bullpens. It's basically a fancy way of saying I'm trying to project out games. It's really hard to do baseball on a play-by-play basis, the same way you are able to for NBA or for NFL, where you can come up with like different types of game scripts based on the odds that you're given. If somebody has a plus 185 anytime touchdown and applying that logic to what are their chances of scoring in the game and playing the game out 10,000 times. In baseball, it's a lot harder, but you're able to focus a lot on the starting pitching and it'll give you some clues. But I pulled up DraftKings and looked at the team totals that they had over there for alternate Colorado Rockies run lines. So 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. And we were basically doing what I do all the time when it comes to run lines, where it's like, is it better to take a money line or a run line based on what the price is that you're presented from all of these different books and trying to project out how many of the times you're going to be a winner. And that's your positive expected value. 3.5 is at minus 160 on DK. 4.5 is at plus 105 and 5.5 is plus 170. If you do your proper shopping, I think it was upwards of plus 185. I heard from Brad here, but basically just kind of prototyped in what we're looking at here from the Tanner Houck side of things. And he's a guy who gets hit up a little bit above average, if you will, has some issues with the power department, has a decent ground ball percentage of 55.2%, which is something you want to pay attention to here in Coors. But with some of these bats, there's enough guys who loft it. And if you're not bringing a ton of great strikeout stuff to the table, which Tanner Houck has all right at 23.5%, but it's a slider specific pitcher. And anytime you get up in altitude, you run the risk of having the ball not curving the same amount. And that really, really plays in favor of the hitters. And so pretty much it's a ballpark that plays in favor of the hitters. The game environment being at altitude plays in favor of the hitters. And then the ball not spinning plays in favor of the hitters. So we basically ran it a number of different ways. And I like the 5.5 more than I like the 3.5, which is not something that I thought logically I would think. But it has more to do with this is the number one hitters ballpark in baseball. If you want to take it over from there, Brad.
Yeah. I'm glad that you went first because you said all the fancy stuff where I just kind of use a couple of Brad Thomas metrics to answer it. But yeah,
Love that.
First thing I wanted to look at when I was looking at lines for this game was how can I attack the situation of the Red Sox bullpen. Red Sox didn't want to send Jansen out there. Certainly didn't want to send Jansen out yesterday with how many pitches? Like 25 pitches yesterday.
I don't know. It was beautiful though. It was a home
yeah,
run.
You loved it. with the I think like 25 pitches, like with their bullpen.
My wife
kind of
really, really, really dislikes Kenley Jansen, and there are not many people that my wife is. Just the 11 years he was with the Dodgers, she's a diehard Dodger fan. It is what it is. But
yeah. And so then I was like, want to see who was on the mound for the Red Sox, and I saw Houck, who has the ability to get hit up, like Eric kind of pointed out there, and I wanted to see if this made sense, right? Like, how do I take their team total? Then I was thinking about the times he gets hits up and how often he goes over like the 3 earned runs or the 5 earned runs, right? And it's more often when he gets hit up than not. And so I figured if they're going to have to extend him because their bullpen's kind of depleted, right? Then you're going to get more opportunities of him seeing this or the hitters seeing him multiple times, which gives you more opportunities for good, strong hits and potential home runs, extra base hits, which leads to the total. So I took over 5.5 total runs. I gave it out on NBC this morning at plus 185. It's at plus 170 now, which is obviously not as great value, but that's still fine.
All right. So just to be clear, are guys doing the same play here?
Over 5.5. Yeah. Well, I just thought it was an interesting
Over 5.5
talking point.
team
Yeah.
total for who?
For the Colorado
Rockies.
Rockies. I just think it's
Okay,
more
okay,
interesting
yeah,
to talk through the
that's
process of a specific
why I
bet
wanted you to
sometimes,
be
when
just a little clearer here.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
So-
over 5.5 for the team total Rockies. Anything better than plus 180, I would be taking. Is it still plus 180?
It's
that what you
plus
said?
182. So
Yep.
I'm going to add my plan here from last night on the odd shot. Lindy puts his locks out in the evening. That's the big video, and then I also put my short out, and we're doing pretty well. We're up about 20 units so far this year. Just two quick hitters, and one of them was actually the Rockies on the run line. So I took the Rockies plus money here at 1.5. You laid out a lot. The only thing I will add is that the Red Sox seem to at least struggle, if not just not consistent against lefties. I'm not resting a lot of hope that Austin Gomber is going to go, 7 innings of strikeout, shutout baseball, but it's enough to cause a little confusion. Both you guys clearly think the ball can fly from a Colorado standpoint. I agree. I also think that there's a little bit of an angle here to stifle a Red Sox team that, mind you, played last night and now hits the road. So that's another thing to factor in on that. If you want, we can look at what those two look like together. Just see what that's like right now. Again, this earlier was at even money. Sorry. So it's just at even money for that. If you throw them in there right now, it's all the way at minus 110. So plus 222 right there. Same game parlay. Rockies cover the run line and they go over 5.5 runs. Any objection?
Nope.
Do you want to
Not at all,
add
me.
a third one in and we can make it like a true 3-leg, Lindy?
What do I want? I
In
don't
this
understand Hunter Green being at 6.5 today, for what it's worth. I keep staring at it from a projection standpoint, and the fact that the market doesn't align with it in any way, shape, or form freaks me out a little bit. Hunter Green is he's had the lowest strikeout rate he's had in the 3 years, but he's been the most successful that he's been. Whether or not that's something that is going to reduce it by 3%, 4%, that he's pitching more to contact, I don't think that that's the case. I think it's just that he's finding ways to reduce some of the power that bit him in the ass before. But we have like a minus 105 over at BetMGM on the over of 6.5 strikeouts. And it got bet down throughout the entire day. And I've just been waiting and biding my time until I could buy into this, where hopefully it's at even money. But there was a ton of money coming in on the under of 6.5 strikeouts, and I never saw it at any point in time. It's probably my favorite bet now, sitting at minus 105 on the entire day. Hunter Green, 6.5 strikeouts.
You said under, right?
Yeah, under.
Oh, more. I want more now.
You want
So
more?
it like flipped. Tons of money was coming in on the under, and I have the projected lineup for Atlanta today sitting around a 25% strikeout rate, and I do think that there's some risk. Obviously, Atlanta has been due for positive regression for a while, but they've only got a 4 implied run total. You've got decent enough pitching weather. It's 75 at first pitch in Atlanta, wind slightly blowing in from right, but not really noticeable in any way, shape, or form. And you're getting Ignacio Alvarez. He was actually in the original lineup there, batting second. Yeah, he's batting second here today for the Atlanta Braves. That is just wild that he's getting called up and getting put into duty right away there, batting second. I just think there's going to be quite a few strikeouts available here.
All right, over 6.5. That gets us to plus 481. Here, I'll send this to you, Tone, just so you can see what we have.
Party Garth.
Yeah, I like it. All right, so he'll get that up there real quick. And a reminder here, as we already told you about what's going on with GoldBoys, you can sign up that BetMGM. We'll get that spot up here for you in just a second and tell you about what's going on. Mainly our Discord. That's where you can find Eric and myself. We'll give you a code where you can take off. Brad, of course, with GoldBoys, you can find him there. The only other thing I was really looking at was and there are probably a couple of ways you can play this game. Either just take them on the run line, knowing this is the 4th game of that series, and they really do need a win
against this god awful Marlins team. Chirinos on the hill, and granted, there's not going to be a ton of blowback type strikeout power against them. Maybe something with Peterson too, because they did get some bullpen work last night to where you could probably clear, depending on the number, 16 and a half outs if you could still get it. I'd probably stay away from the K's, but that was the only other game I was looking at. And then I'm sure I'm going to have some egregious Kyle Schwarber first plate appearance thing. I'm going to text Eric 2 minutes before game time tonight in Minnesota. Although I do like
the Twins. Are you in or are
Twins.
you out? And it give me like 30 seconds to decide.
I do like the Twins tonight for what it's worth, but
I absolutely do not. So we are not on the same ballpark there. I
didn't bet it, but
I leaned it, and I'm not going to bet it. I will say the thing that I vetoed on my sheet from yesterday was the under of 8.5 in that Miami game.
Yeah,
I just don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want blood on my hands, and I just hate both pitchers so much.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't love Peterson, but there is a little bit with that bullpen getting a little work, and also knowing that they need this. It's not a typical Monday game to open a series. It's to close out a 4-gamer. And I think that there's a little bit of extra there, especially losing, as we saw in this series. Anything else in Major League Baseball that's worth a note?
Kansas City run line.
Okay. That's all I got. Brad?
No, not for me.
Okay. Kansas City run line. We'll put that in there.
Yeah. It's just like an eternal play for me in some of these spots. White Sox are going to be very, very, very cautious with a lot of their guys getting close to the deadline too. I don't see any reason. I mean, obviously it's professional baseball. Their job is to go out and play baseball. I don't think you're getting any kind of like a discount or anything going up against Chicago White Sox there from yesterday. But now with the series switching to, I'm trying to get everything updated here, Kansas City. I don't even know where they ended up going on my sheet here right now, but I know Kansas City run line was my favorite play as of right now.
I went.
What was it? Plus 138 over at Bet Rivers, plus 132 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, they're hosting Arizona tonight.
These are great. These are great numbers. These are great numbers.
That's fine. Absolutely fine. Did you guys look at anything in the preseason yet, as far as just, do you even bet? There's one thing that kind of jumped out at me,
like
this
preseason
year.
lines.
Just knowing, like, we've got the Hall of Fame game coming right down. We're like 2 weeks away from the Hall of Fame game, start of August. And then I was looking at the calendar trying to figure out if I had any time to get away early September. I'm like, holy shit, week 1 of the NFL is like that weekend in September. We're right there. So I don't bet a ton of NFL preseason, not because it's like, I looked out, just because I think it takes some time to really look at depth charts. You have to look at some beat reporters and kind of get an idea of where things are going. One little cheat that I have, and Tone, if we can, let's run that BetMGM GoldBoys spot real quick, and I'll throw you this little cheat code that I had when it comes to the NFL preseason. It really only works with like 1 or 2 teams, depending on what you can find, but I think it's at least worth a mention. I'm curious if you guys have anything that you kind of apply early in here, but this is from GoldBoys and BetMGM. Month free of GoldBoys.com just for signing up at BetMGM using code GoldBoys. Sign up at MGM with code GoldBoys, deposit a minimum of $10, and get your first bet back at BetMGM up to $1,500. After signing up at BetMGM, send a screenshot of you using code GoldBoys to promohelp@goldboys.com to get your first month free. 21 or older, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. So you have to tell that story, please. Can you just retell what you told us? Because I won't be able to move on.
Yeah. I'm running so bad. So the wind is blowing like north and south in this game, which means the team who has the tailwind has more likelihood of the ball going out of bounds. So I took them to get the third corner. The opposite team had the ball. They kick it. My guy stops the ball, clears it downfield, deflects off the guy, bounces, hits him in the face, goes out of bounds, and I lose the bet. Like, what kind of luck is that? Like, That has to be the worst running. I'm running so bad where like I'll be betting on the best team in soccer to win the game. This happened over the weekend. They have the best home record. I've only lost once at home all season against a terrible team. I took both teams to score that cash perfect, right? I took them to win and over 1.5 goals. They lose
Unbelievable.
4-2. At home. They hadn't conceded multiple goals at home all season in like 8 games.
What level of Icelandic soccer are you even betting right now?
The top tier.
Yeah.
How many tiers are there?
There's like 3 or
Not
4.
a big country.
It's like a 25-letter last name. Is like the Thor Bjornsson
I like
A series.
I bet
Are they
on leagues
playing
where there's
Greenland
high
as
goal
well?
outputs
Like,
and high predictability. So Iceland has high predictability. The good teams are good and they score goals. The bad teams are bad and they concede a lot of goals, which is why I bet Iceland. I bet Norway because when the good teams don't concede, they don't concede. When they do concede, they do. So it's really not a high level of variance.
so if you look at Iceland, it's about the same size as Kentucky and Virginia, right? Not together, but like individually, right? So first off, how many leagues are in Iceland alone? Like how many, you said the top tier, how many tiers can this country fit? Not many. Like
lot.
this is crazy. Is
that
that what
exact number? But they have a lot of leagues, like at least 3 professional leagues. But to be honest, like once you get past the second league, most of these guys have day jobs.
Got it. Okay.
So
Okay.
you
Makes
just have to
sense.
know that.
It's like Eric's sand soccer beach league, right? Like he also had a day job.
Exactly.
All
Very
right.
much so. But also, I quit doing it because my golf shoes hurt to put on after I would play
I
soccer.
imagine that
That's
must
a
have just been
problem.
punishment.
That is a problem.
Soto with the
Yeah, you-
3-run jack, if anybody's paying attention.
Number
by the
2.
way.
Another one?
Number 2. I had
Yeah.
the over, so that was good.
9-1. I'm sure that hit. So the only thing I would say real quick, and we'll tell you about OddsShopper, get in the Discord on the way out where you can find us and all. But I think there's a team like Cleveland, for example, that has an interesting angle when it comes to the preseason. And it's twofold with the same position. And this is really the only thing that I would look at to try to get ahead if you're betting a game, right? It's look at the depth chart of quarterbacks and how many guys on that depth chart actually have real life NFL experience versus are people fighting rookie, second year, journeyman, what have you. There's a pretty significant difference between Jameis Winston and even DRT, for that matter, who got some pretty good run as a starting quarterback, versus a guy on a team who was struggling just to stay in the league or his second year in the league. You know, maybe he can make it as the third stringer with no real experience, because you'll see fourth quarters, right? Like last 8, 10, 12 minutes, that's where a lot of these preseason lines can be won. And it's not some dude on the defensive side trying to make the team as like the fifth string. It's the quarterback. It's the quarterback making do with what he has around him. And I think there's probably a pretty decent angle with Cleveland to come out and cover some spreads. Also, by the way, Deshaun needs some work. So it's not like he's going to play deep into the second half in the first game, but it might be the difference, right, between another series or two. And that could be 7 to 10 to even 14 points.
Yeah, for me, preseason betting comes down to rookies. It always will.
Yep.
It always has. I'm always just paying attention to rookies. If you see any kind of trends as far as a quarterback or a running back or a wide receiver go as far as usage, I mean, they are always the ones that get inserted, and even the really, really good ones. Puka Nacua did not play in the preseason for the Los Angeles Rams, and that was a big red flag to me to say that, oh shit, this guy is going to be on the field nonstop. And it ended up leading to probably my best week 1 that I've had in my NFL betting career, just backing Puka Nacua for everything. But I think just telling what the usage is going to be for certain spots that might be thin in the running back charts, I try to get as much preseason prop action as I can, which usually ends up being pick 'em on underdog prize picks, things of that nature. But yeah, it always comes down to these rookies, and same thing that will happen with quarterbacks here. Like, how much will JJ McCarthy play? Because you're going to see a guy like that play probably more than any veteran. Like, how many veterans do you really need to see out there slinging it in the preseason? So it's trying to take advantage of spots like that where the market might be a little soft.
Got it. You look too early for you, man. I knew you already got week 1 stuff, man. So you on
I don't bet
futures.
preseason at all. I
You
also
just
like
look
when it
down
like
on us. Admit it.
what?
You just look down on us. These
No.
degenerates.
I'll bet preseason if I like get word that they're gonna bench all their starters before everyone else. I
Right,
try to
right,
get on the
right,
number, but
My buddy bet one preseason game last year, and it was the can't miss Baltimore Ravens in their first loss in like 8 years
oh
under
my
Jim
god,
Harbaugh. I was like, that's amazing. He's like, oh,
Amazing.
dude, I just had to bet a game, and I was told that Baltimore's the slam. He like laid 6.5 in a preseason game and got torched. It was
I'd
fantastic.
quit.
Yeah. But I don't think that's going to change either, right? Like, they lose the game, what have you, but he doesn't change who he is. He still wants to go out for whatever reason and win these games and coach to win right to the end. So that's probably some good buyback if anybody brings that up. It's like somebody picking a 16 to beat a 1 the following year after Virginia goes down, right? Thinking like, well, it happened last year. It's definitely going to happen again. Hey, no. Yeah,
It's like somebody
don't
shooting
really-
59 in a practice round and then having it be like some kind of an indicator of that's what they're going to
Yeah.
shoot in the tournament. It's like, dude, you were hanging out with a bunch of execs, smoking darts and just living your life on a Tuesday. Yeah, you shot 59. Congratulations. Enjoy your 74 on Thursday.
I agree.
All right. I got one thing to keep an eye on here.
Your child.
Well, yeah, but that's 2 things. I've got 2 of them. All right, on the way out, Tone has it for you. We'll get you in the OddsShopper Discord, 50% off. All you need to do is use code as a little teaser. Eagles were plus 135 to win the NFC East. That was off. There was just no way that that far away from Dallas, who was at even money. And lo and behold, after we gave that out, April 29th, that market has since adjusted and it's pretty much even money to maybe plus 110 if you're lucky right there. So it's an example. I can't just tell you to sign up without telling you to sign up. Don't worry about the O'Neal, the Cruz home run or anything else. That stuff comes within it. Brad, tell the world where you're at. Again, GoldBoys, of course, but you got a bunch of other cool stuff happening.
Yeah. You can follow me on X at Mr. Brad Thomas. I'll have my plays out there. Oh my gosh! So if you guys aren't on the NBC YouTube channel, make sure you check it out. Tomorrow I'm interviewing Bilal Muhammad.
Let's
He has a
go.
title fight with Leon Edwards. I'll ask him a couple questions. If you want, there's anything in particular you want me to ask, you can send it over to me on X, and I'll see if it'll make the interview.
Probably not. Probably. Oh no, we're not going to ask Bilal Muhammad that. I'm pretty excited to see that interview for sure. He's
Yeah. Did
a
you have a
beast. It's gonna
question you wanted Brad to pass on, or it sounded
Oh
like
no,
you were...
I was good. I'm a little bitter. There's things that Bilal Muhammad. He's good. He's very good.
said or
good
did not do in the case of finishing a ticket for you? Like, would you ask him, hey, do you remember in that 5th fight when you submitted early and I needed that over 2.5 total rounds? Like, is that what you want Brad to bring up?
No, I'm trying to even like just bring it up. Like, I do hope he beats Edwards for what it's worth. So I'm definitely going to be cheering for that side of things. So excited to see that. You can find me over at OddsShopper, over at Stochastic. Follow me on X at Eric Lindquist. Always firing up some freebies for the people, but hopping in that premium Discord on the daily.
There you go. We'll see y'all coming up in a second here. Wednesday, 3:00 Eastern. You can find me at shanderbets. I'll be on OddsShopper doing all types of crazy shit. You never know. And again, thanks to Tone. We'll see him on Wednesday as well. Subscribe, hit that thumbs up, goldboys.com, GoldBoys YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the OddsShopper channel and following us here at OddsShopper on Twitter. See you.